If you are over 50, the scariest thing about cancer may not be the first abnormal cell. Your body deals with abnormal cells all the time. The frightening moment is when one of those cells learns how to feed itself, hide from your immune system, and build the conditions it needs to keep growing. That is the part most people never hear about. We are often told cancer is only about bad luck, genes, aging, or one frightening diagnosis that appears out of nowhere. Genes matter, screening matters, medical care matters, but your body is not helpless. Every day, you have built-in defense systems working quietly in the background, DNA repair enzymes trying to fix damage, immune cells scanning for abnormal cells, blood vessel controls that decide where new vessels should or should not grow, and gut bacteria that can influence inflammation and immune response. So today, I want to show you something powerful, but I want to be very clear from the beginning. This is not about miracle foods. This is not about replacing your doctor, skipping screenings, or treating cancer with fruit and tea. Food is not chemotherapy. Food is not surgery. Food is not immunotherapy. But the right foods, eaten consistently, can support the biological systems your body already uses to protect itself. I'm Dr. Caleb Rowan, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 foods that have been studied for their ability to support DNA protection, immune defense, healthy blood vessel balance, and the gut environment linked to cancer resilience. And stay with me, because the most important part is not just what to eat, it is how to eat them, when to eat them, and how to combine them, so this becomes something you can actually do in real life. And before we begin, take one quick second to subscribe to the channel. A lot of people watch several videos before realizing they never subscribed, and it helps us reach more people who want clear, science-based health information. To understand why these foods matter, we need to correct one of the biggest misunderstandings about cancer. Most people imagine cancer as something that suddenly appears, like a switch turning on. But inside the body, the process is usually more gradual. Your cells are constantly dividing, replacing old cells, repairing tissues, and keeping organs functioning. Every time a cell copies its DNA, there is a chance for a mistake. Most of those mistakes are corrected. Some are harmless. Some damaged cells are destroyed. But occasionally, a cell becomes abnormal enough that your body has to deal with it quickly. That sounds alarming, but it is normal biology. The body is not sterile. It is not perfect. It is a living system with constant repair, cleanup, and surveillance. Think of your immune system like a security team, walking through a building every night, checking doors, finding broken locks, removing anything that should not be there. Natural killer cells and T cells are part of that security system. They help identify cells that are behaving abnormally and remove them before they become a bigger threat. But here is the more important question. It is not only, why do abnormal cells appear? The deeper question is, why are some abnormal cells allowed to survive, adapt, and grow? That is where your internal environment matters. A damaged cell does not become dangerous simply because it exists. To become a real problem, it needs opportunity. It needs inflammation that favors growth. It needs immune blind spots. It needs enough nutrients and oxygen. And in many cases, it needs a blood supply. Without that support, abnormal cell clusters may stay microscopic. With the wrong support, they may begin to behave very differently. This is why cancer prevention is not just about avoiding bad things. Of course, not smoking matters. Limiting alcohol matters. Protecting your skin from excessive ultraviolet exposure matters. Maintaining a healthy weight matters. Getting recommended screenings matters. But prevention also includes actively strengthening the systems that protect you every single day. And that is where food becomes more than calories. Food becomes information. It sends signals to your immune system, your gut bacteria, your inflammatory pathways, your blood vessels, and your DNA repair machinery. One of the most fascinating systems involved in this process is called angiogenesis. Angiogenesis simply means the growth of new blood vessels. Your body needs angiogenesis. When you cut your skin, new blood vessels help repair the wound. When muscles adapt after exercise, blood vessel signaling helps deliver oxygen. If you have too little blood vessel growth, tissues cannot heal properly. But if blood vessels grow where they should not, that can create serious problems. Cancer can exploit this system. A small cluster of abnormal cells needs oxygen and nutrients. At a tiny size, diffusion may be enough to keep it alive, but not enough to let it grow freely. To expand, it has to recruit blood vessels. Tumor cells can release signaling proteins, including vascular endothelial growth factor, often called VEGF. VEGF works like a request to the body. Build blood vessels here. When new vessels begin growing toward the tumor, the biology changes. The abnormal cells now have a supply line. That is why angiogenesis has been such an important area in cancer research. Doctors already use medicines called angiogenesis inhibitors in certain cancers. These drugs are not the same as food. They are targeted medical treatments with specific uses, benefits, and risks. But the reason they exist tells us something important. Blood vessel balance matters, and many plant foods contain compounds that have been studied for their effects on oxidative stress, inflammation, and signaling pathways involved in abnormal blood vessel growth. So when we talk about foods that may support cancer defense, we are not saying a tomato or a cup of tea will treat a tumor. We are saying certain foods may help support the body's normal balance, the balance that says yes to blood vessels when you are healing, and no when abnormal growth is trying to hijack the system. The second system is DNA protection and repair. Every day, your DNA is under stress. Sunlight, pollution, tobacco smoke, alcohol, high heat cooking byproducts, chronic inflammation, and even normal metabolism can generate oxidative stress. Oxidative stress can damage proteins, cell membranes, and DNA. Your body has repair systems to correct this damage, but those systems depend on nutrients, antioxidants, enzymes, and overall metabolic health. Imagine a road that gets tiny cracks every day. A good city repair crew can fill those cracks before they become potholes. But if the crew has no materials, no tools, and no time, the cracks widen. The road weakens. Eventually, damage that could have been repaired becomes permanent. Your DNA repair systems work in a similar way. They are active, they are intelligent, but they need support. This is where whole foods are different from isolated pills. A kiwi, for example, is not just vitamin C. It contains vitamin C, fiber, polyphenols, carotenoids, and other compounds that work together. A blueberry is not just a blue pigment. It contains anthocyanins, fiber, vitamin C, manganese, and dozens of plant compounds. A tomato is not just lycopene. It contains a matrix of nutrients that affects how your body absorbs and uses that lycopene. That is why I want you to think in terms of food patterns, not magic ingredients. The strongest health effects usually come from consistent patterns repeated over time. Before I give you the 7 foods, I want you to understand the 3 defense pathways we are targeting. The first is healthy angiogenesis control. This is the blood vessel balance we just discussed. Certain compounds in foods have been studied for their ability to influence VEGF signaling, endothelial cell behavior, and inflammation around blood vessels. The second pathway is immune activation and immune readiness. Your immune system is not one thing, it is an entire network. Natural killer cells are part of your early defense. T cells help recognize and destroy abnormal cells. Macrophages help clean up damaged tissue and coordinate inflammatory responses. When your immune system is undernourished, chronically inflamed, or metabolically stressed, it may not patrol as effectively. Foods rich in colorful polyphenols can help support a healthier immune environment. The third pathway is the gut microbiome. This is one of the most exciting areas in modern medicine. The bacteria in your gut do not just help digest food, they help train the immune system, regulate inflammation, produce metabolites, and communicate with distant organs. Emerging research has linked certain gut bacteria, including Akkermansia muciniphila, with healthier metabolic function and, in some cancer studies, better responses to immunotherapy. That does not mean you can drink a juice and guarantee a treatment response. It means your gut environment may influence how your immune system behaves, and food is one of the most powerful ways to shape that environment. Now, let's make this practical. The first food is kiwi. If I had to choose one fruit for DNA support, kiwi would be near the top of my list. Kiwi is rich in vitamin C, but again, it is not just vitamin C. It also contains fiber, polyphenols, carotenoids, potassium, and enzymes that support digestion. Human studies have looked at kiwi intake and markers of DNA protection, and the results are interesting enough that I take this fruit seriously, especially for people who want a simple daily habit. For general support, 1 kiwi a day is a realistic place to start. If you are trying to increase your intake of vitamin C-rich whole foods, 2 kiwis a day can be reasonable for many people. Some research protocols have used up to 3 per day, but you do not need to force that. Start with 1. Consistency matters more than intensity. The best time is earlier in the day, with breakfast or as a mid-morning snack. Slice it into Greek yogurt, add it to oatmeal, blend it into a smoothie, or simply cut it in half and eat it with a spoon. If you buy organic and wash it well, you can eat the skin if you tolerate the texture. The skin adds fiber and additional plant compounds. Golden kiwi is smoother and usually easier for people who dislike the fuzzy skin. A small caution. If you have kidney disease, are on a potassium-restricted diet, or have a known kiwi allergy, talk with your clinician before making kiwi a daily habit. For most people, though, one kiwi a day is one of the easiest upgrades you can make. The second food is green tea. Green tea contains catechins, especially EGCG, which has been studied for its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and cell signaling effects. In laboratory and population research, green tea compounds have been connected with pathways involved in angiogenesis, oxidative stress, and cellular protection. Again, we are not treating cancer with tea. We are using tea as a daily signal that may support a healthier internal environment. The key is to drink real brewed green tea, not a sweet bottled drink with a little tea flavor. Aim for 2 to 3 cups a day if you tolerate caffeine. If you are sensitive to caffeine, keep it earlier in the day or choose a lower caffeine green tea. The brewing details matter. Use hot water, but not violently boiling water. Around 175 degrees Fahrenheit is a good target. If you boil water, let it cool for a few minutes before pouring it over the leaves or tea bag. Steep for 3 to 5 minutes. Longer steeping extracts more compounds, but it also makes the tea more bitter. Here is a powerful little trick. Add a squeeze of lemon. Vitamin C can help stabilize catechins during digestion, which may improve how much your body can use. I would avoid adding dairy milk to green tea if your goal is catechin absorption, because proteins may bind some of the beneficial compounds. If you like a lighter tea, use it plain, with lemon, or with a small amount of unsweetened plant milk. If you take blood thinners, have severe reflux, are pregnant, or are sensitive to caffeine, use common sense and speak with your doctor. And please do not start taking high-dose green tea extract capsules without medical guidance. Concentrated extracts are very different from drinking brewed tea and have been associated with liver problems in some cases. Food and beverage habits are not the same as megadose supplements. The third food is blueberries. Blueberries are small, but they carry a lot of biological information. Their deep blue color comes from anthocyanins, plant pigments that have been studied for antioxidant, vascular, metabolic, and immune-supporting effects. That color is not decoration. In many plant foods, color is chemistry. Blueberries are especially useful because they are easy. Fresh or frozen both work. In fact, frozen blueberries can be an excellent choice because they are often picked at peak ripeness and frozen quickly. Aim for about 1 cup a day if it fits your diet. Add them to oatmeal, yogurt, a smoothie, or a bowl with walnuts and cinnamon. They can satisfy a sweet craving while bringing fiber and polyphenols with them. When we talk about immune defense, blueberries are not boosting your immune system in a reckless way. You do not want an overactive immune system. You want a balanced, alert immune system. Anthocyanin-rich foods appear to support that balance by helping reduce chronic oxidative stress while supporting healthier inflammatory signaling. That matters because chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the environment's abnormal cells can use to their advantage. And here is the practical point. A cup of blueberries every day is better than eating a giant container once a month. Your cells respond to patterns. Your gut bacteria respond to patterns. Your blood sugar, inflammation, and immune signals respond to what you repeatedly do, not what you do once in a while. The fourth food is soy, and this one needs a careful conversation because soy has been surrounded by confusion for years. Many people, especially women over 50 and men worried about hormones, have been told to avoid soy because it contains phytoestrogens. That term sounds scary, but it is often misunderstood. Soy contains isoflavones, including genistein and digoxin. These compounds can interact with estrogen receptors, but they are much weaker than human estrogen and can act selectively depending on the tissue. Whole soy foods have been studied extensively, and moderate intake is generally considered safe for most people. In some research, soy foods are associated with favorable outcomes in hormone-related cancer contexts, especially when soy is consumed as part of a long-term traditional dietary pattern. The key phrase is whole soy foods. I am talking about tofu, tempeh, edamame, unsweetened soy milk, and miso in reasonable amounts. I am not talking about ultra-processed snack foods that happen to contain soy protein isolate. A practical target is at least 2 servings per week, and for many people, a serving every other day can fit beautifully into a healthy diet. A serving could be half a cup of tofu, half a cup of edamame, or a cup of unsweetened soy milk. Tofu absorbs flavor well, tempeh is firmer and nuttier, and edamame makes an easy, high-protein snack. If you take thyroid medication, separate soy foods from your medication timing because soy can interfere with absorption if taken too close to levothyroxine. If you have a history of breast cancer or prostate cancer and feel nervous about soy, Do not guess based on internet fear. Ask your oncology team specifically about whole soy foods. In many cases, the answer is far more reassuring than people expect. The fifth food is broccoli sprouts. If kiwi is the simple DNA support fruit, broccoli sprouts are the concentrated chemistry food. Broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables contain compounds that can help produce sulforaphane, a molecule studied for its role in activating detoxification enzymes, supporting antioxidant defenses, and influencing inflammation. Broccoli sprouts, especially young sprouts around 3 to 4 days old, are particularly rich in glucoraphanin, a precursor involved in sulforaphane production. You do not need a huge amount. A small handful, about a quarter cup, 3 to 4 times per week, is a reasonable target for many people. You can add sprouts to a salad, put them on avocado toast, fold them into a wrap after cooking, or use them as a topping on a bowl. If you cannot find sprouts, regular broccoli is still valuable. Eat the stems too. People throw away the stems, but they contain useful compounds and fiber. Peel the tough outer layer, chop them, and add them to soups, stir-fries, or roasted vegetables. Preparation matters. Boiling broccoli for a long time is one of the fastest ways to lose water-soluble nutrients and reduce the benefit. Light steaming is better. For mature broccoli, 3 to 4 minutes of steaming keeps it bright green and tender crisp. If you cook it until it is gray and mushy, you have gone too far. For sprouts, remember that raw sprouts can carry food safety risks because of the warm, moist conditions used to grow them. If your immune system is severely weakened, if you are on chemotherapy, if you have had a transplant, or if your doctor has told you to avoid raw sprouts, choose cooked cruciferous vegetables instead. The goal is protection, not unnecessary risk. The sixth food is cooked tomatoes. This is one of my favorite examples of how preparation changes nutrition. Raw tomatoes are healthy, but cooked tomatoes provide lycopene in a more bioavailable form. Lycopene is a carotenoid, the red pigment in tomatoes, and it has been studied for antioxidant effects, blood vessel signaling, and prostate health. Here is the key. Heat helps release lycopene from the tomato's cell structure, and fat helps your body absorb it. That means tomato sauce, tomato paste, roasted tomatoes, and stewed tomatoes can deliver more usable lycopene than raw tomatoes alone. Add extra virgin olive oil, and absorption improves even more. A practical target is 3 servings a week of cooked tomato products. That could be half a cup of tomato sauce, a quarter cup of tomato paste used in a soup or stew, or a cup of roasted tomatoes. For men over 50, this is especially relevant because lycopene-rich diets have been studied in relation to prostate health. But this is not only for men. Lycopene is part of a broader antioxidant and vascular support pattern. Be careful with store-bought sauces that are loaded with added sugar or sodium. Look for simple ingredients: tomatoes, olive oil, garlic, herbs, maybe a little salt. If you have reflux, tomatoes may trigger symptoms, so use the amount your body tolerates. The seventh food is pomegranate. Pomegranate is interesting because it connects directly to the gut immune conversation. Pomegranates contain L-glutanins, which your gut bacteria can convert into compounds called urolithins, including urolithin A. These metabolites are being studied for cellular health, mitochondrial function, inflammation, and immune-related pathways. Pomegranate may also help create a gut environment that supports beneficial bacteria, including Akkermansia, Muciniphilia, though this area is still emerging. I want to be careful here. No one should hear this and think pomegranate juice can make cancer treatment work or replace immunotherapy. That would be irresponsible. But it is reasonable to say that pomegranate provides polyphenols that interact with gut bacteria, and that the gut microbiome is increasingly recognized as important in immune health. A practical amount is about 4 ounces of pure pomegranate juice a day, or about half of a fresh pomegranate when available. Choose 100% pomegranate juice with no added sugar. More is not always better. 8, 12, or 16 ounces can add a lot of sugar quickly, especially if you have diabetes or insulin resistance. 4 ounces is enough to make it a habit without turning it into a sugar load. You can also rotate pomegranate with walnuts, raspberries, strawberries, and cranberries, which also contain related polyphenols. The best diet is not one where you force the same thing every day until you hate it. The best diet is one that creates a reliable pattern with enough variety to last for years. Now, knowing the 7 foods is only half the value. The real power comes from how you use them. Many people hear a list like this and immediately try to do everything perfectly by Monday morning. That usually lasts 3 days. Then life gets busy, the refrigerator gets messy, and the plan disappears. I want you to think differently. Build a simple rhythm. Start your day with one DNA support habit, That could be Greek yogurt with kiwi and blueberries. It could be oatmeal with blueberries and walnuts, with kiwi on the side. It could be a smoothie with kiwi, blueberries, spinach, and unsweetened soy milk. You do not need a complicated recipe. You need a repeatable breakfast that gives your body vitamin C, anthocyanins, fiber, and polyphenols early in the day. Then place green tea in the late morning or early afternoon. Not at 9 p.m. if caffeine keeps you awake. Brew it properly, add lemon. Make it part of a calm routine instead of a rushed afterthought. If you normally drink a second cup of coffee in the afternoon and it makes you jittery, green tea may be a gentler option. At lunch or dinner, use the cooked foods. Tofu with lightly steamed broccoli and tomato sauce is a surprisingly powerful combination. You get soy, isoflavones, cruciferous compounds, and lycopene with olive oil in one meal. Another option is a lentil and tomato stew with chopped broccoli stems, or a whole grain bowl with edamame, roasted tomatoes, greens, and a small handful of broccoli sprouts added after cooking. This is what I mean by synergy. Lemon with green tea helps catechins. Olive oil with tomatoes helps lycopene. Vitamin C-rich kiwi with plant foods can help iron absorption. Broccoli plus mustard seed can help sulforaphane formation. Because mustard contains myrosinase, you do not have to memorize every mechanism. Just remember, combine colorful plants, healthy fats, and gentle preparation. The next principle is consistency beats intensity. Your body does not need one heroic day of perfect eating followed by 2 weeks of nothing. It needs steady input. One kiwi most mornings, a cup of blueberries most days, green tea several times a week or daily if you tolerate it, cooked tomatoes a few times a week, broccoli sprouts or cruciferous vegetables regularly, soy foods in a realistic rotation, pomegranate in small amounts if it fits your blood sugar and budget. Think of this like brushing your teeth. You would never say, I brush my teeth for 2 hours on Sunday, so I do not need to brush again for a month. It does not work that way. Cellular defense, gut bacteria, inflammation, and metabolism respond to repetition. Another important principle is whole foods over isolated supplements. I am not against supplements when they are used wisely. Some people need vitamin D, some need B12, some need specific nutrients based on labs, medications, or medical conditions. But when it comes to plant compounds like EGCG, lycopene, anthocyanins, and sulforaphane, whole foods give you a broad matrix of chemistry that a capsule cannot fully copy. A tomato gives you lycopene along with vitamin C, potassium, folate, other carotenoids, fiber, and water. Blueberries give you anthocyanins inside a food structure that also feeds gut bacteria. Soy gives you isoflavones, plus protein and minerals. Pomegranate gives you polyphenols that your gut bacteria transform. The body understands food patterns better than it understands isolated megadoses. Preparation is another place people lose benefits without realizing it. Do not boil broccoli until it collapses. Lightly steam it. Do not drink sweet bottled green tea and assume it is the same as brewed tea. Brew real tea. Do not eat tomatoes only raw if your goal is lycopene. Cook them with olive oil. Do not treat pomegranate juice like soda. Use a small amount. Do not rely on blueberry muffins and think you are eating blueberries. Eat the actual berries. And perhaps the most important rule is this: add before you restrict. Many people approach health with fear. I can never eat this again. I have to quit everything I enjoy. I have to become perfect. That mindset burns people out. Instead, start adding protective foods. Add kiwi to breakfast. Add green tea in the afternoon. Add tomato sauce with olive oil to dinner. Add broccoli sprouts to a wrap. Add tofu or edamame twice a week. Add blueberries to your grocery list every week. As you add these foods, something interesting happens. They begin to crowd out less helpful choices naturally. You are not white-knuckling your way through restriction. You are building a diet that makes you feel more stable, more energized, more in control. And for people over 50, that matters. The goal is not only disease prevention, the goal is independence, clearer energy, better daily function, the confidence that you are doing something meaningful for your body every day. Now let me pull this together in the simplest way. Your body is not passive. It has systems designed to protect you. DNA repair, immune surveillance, blood vessel balance, detoxification enzymes, antioxidant defenses, and gut immune communication. Those systems are not perfect, and they do not make anyone invincible, but they are real, and they can be supported. Kiwi gives you a simple daily source of vitamin C, fiber, and polyphenols that may support DNA protection. Green tea provides catechins like EGCG, studied for antioxidant and blood vessel-related pathways. Blueberries bring anthocyanins that support immune and inflammatory balance. Whole soy foods provide isoflavones like genistein in a safe, practical food form for most people. Broccoli sprouts and broccoli provide compounds connected with sulforaphane production and detoxification enzyme support. Cooked tomatoes give you more bioavailable lycopene, especially when paired with olive oil. Pomegranate provides L-glutanins that interact with your gut bacteria and may support a healthier gut immune environment. None of these foods is a cure. None of them replaces screening, medication, surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, or the advice of your own medical team. If you have cancer, have had cancer, or are at high risk, food should be part of the conversation, not a replacement for care. But do not underestimate the power of daily patterns. The meals you repeat become the internal environment your cells live in. So here is your action step. Choose one food from this list and add it tomorrow. Not all 7. 1. Maybe it is one kiwi with breakfast. Maybe it is a cup of blueberries. Maybe it is green tea with lemon. Maybe it is tomato sauce cooked with olive oil. Once that becomes easy, add the next one. Build the pattern slowly enough that it lasts. And I want you to comment below with the one food you are going to start with first. Just write kiwi, green tea, blueberries, soy, broccoli sprouts, tomatoes, or pomegranate. When you write it down, you are more likely to do it. And someone else reading the comments may realize they can start small too. If this video helped you see food differently, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone over 50 who wants to protect their health without fear or confusion. Your body is already working for you. The question is whether your daily habits are giving it the tools it needs to keep doing that work well. I'll see you in the next video.